That's all I said. The same thing we should do. They are the Koyu to get some of Koyu to get the last of young children. Tangle they were just the prison social of so I kept to me. What does this have a lot in it? In that Chanju Semis, Simja the Zodiac, that one the Solus and Masere, and the Yelis, Saya, Punya, Deya, the name Maguchi. You as a man, chair, lapa, was Simjan chair, Yaman, draw me, mother, Dagio, never as dinner, is that sort of the chair, Pusin the chair, Chachu, and some of them, somebody was Gui or the some of them, the Tapichi, Lachetoina, and Dilil Habish, and Joseph Yamle, Simjan and Pampa, Simjan, number than ever in the Pensiadi, the Shine, Kayula, which make those who wish to the Chanju Yamlet, the Chanju Yamlet, and he Koyuki, soon to be led to the Yamu Channel, Chanju Yamlet, and he did not want to do what he was watching.
So, when we talk about applied bodhicitta, it's something that we actually have to implement and put into practice. We actually have to practice the causes, in other words, the 6 perfections, the 6 paramitas, and so forth. We have to really put these into practice, actually, do it. That's what applied bodhicitta is. Whereas aspiration bodhicitta is just kind of on the mental level. It's a mental wish. But with application bodhicitta, then we're actually implementing it, actually trying to do it. So when we're thinking about how to practice application bodhicitta, the example I gave this morning, there's a lot we can do in terms of the environment, in terms of our natural environment, and trying to kind of clean up natural disasters and clean up in ecological disasters and improve habitats and things that have been polluted and damaged so far. And when we do this, when we are able to, for instance, restore a habitat, we actually end up saving many, many lives of sentient beings. That actually pollution it kills a lot of beings. So, for example, when we think about saving lives and so forth, we tend to think in very coarse terms about, we see large predators, killing a large prey animal, or we think about human beings or something. But we don't think, we're not really aware of the minute levels of life in the environment. So if you think about, one tree, so we say there's like 7 billion human beings. So we can actually, it's a lot of people, but we can sit down and count them all eventually. But how many insects live in a single tree? And if you want to go every leaf of that tree and count every creature living on that tree, depending on that tree, it's an infinite number of creatures depending really on a single tree. So when you think about working to protect the environment or to restore damaged ecosystems and so forth, it really becomes an activity in which you can protect and save, limitless number of lives. Especially in Asia, but there are these popular practices of like animal releasing practices, where the point is to save a large number of animal lives. And so you see people releasing birds and releasing large numbers of fish and turtles and so forth. So this is a long-standing tradition. But especially with birds, sometimes it becomes a really kind of contradictory thing, because in order to release the birds, someone has to go catch them in the first place. So you're basically giving someone an opportunity to do a sinful deed of going and capturing a whole bunch of birds. It's like a business opportunity. And then we come along and release all of these
They're
birds.
often they catch, they already die, dead. So, not why I said I don't want to do that.
So it becomes a little bit ridiculous at a certain point where you're harming life in order to release it, and so forth. So if you think about how can we actually authentically protect life, there are many different ways. For instance, in some areas in the Himalayas, they have this it's like an animal that's a cross between a yak and a cow, so it's called a zomo. And then the zomos, the next generation down, so it's like 2 generations of hybrids, the calves of the zomos are traditionally are killed. They're not valued, so nobody raises them, so they're just killed as kind of a byproduct of domestic livestock raising. So we started a program, or recently some people started a program to stop killing these baby calves. And so after a certain number of years, I think 3 or 4 years ago, they were able to save over 10,000 lives simply by no longer killing these baby calves. It's a similar, along these lines that we often, when we think about protecting lives, we're really just focused on large animals and we're focused on human beings. But we really have to start thinking at a more detailed level about the insects and the small birds and all of the different animals living in the environment. And if we can, restore an ecosystem, if we can protect or clean up large pollution and so forth, we're able to protect all of those countless lives of insects and animals of every different size that are living there. They all, from that, get a place to live, things to eat, they get their habitat back. We want to be thinking, about how we can benefit just countless numbers of sentient beings, and which is why I think that these environmental undertakings are really beneficial. And furthermore, if we're working for the environment in this way, because so many lives are saved through environmental protection activities, then it actually becomes a practice of bodhicitta. So, it actually becomes a practice that is able to benefit all sentient beings equal to space. If we might be focused on working for the environment, but just naturally, a practice of bodhicitta is included within our activities, and so we should, remember this.
And Samateria, Topsetia, Karine Gibseti, Kanaji, Teadi, Shell Teadi, and Jimbayinza, Yawachu Suluturis. And the Tea Topseti, Kana Senata, into my Kaki never, Sena never Tony. Then Tevina, and you should never Suluturis. It's Namas, Chanjus, Yamasum, and Kichiria, one society, they took the Chuna, they told it or did the work and the
So again, we have these 3 kind of main practices associated with bodhicitta. So the practice of cutting off negative deeds, the practice of gathering virtuous deeds, and then the practices of benefiting sentient beings. So if we take an example, something even like giving food to a dog. So feeding a dog, whatever it is that you give that animal to eat, well, you're benefiting the dog because he's getting a meal. So that definitely belongs to the practice of benefiting sentient beings. So that's taken care of. Secondly, you're giving something to feed the dog. So there's some kind of food that's being given that becomes an act of generosity. And so it is one of the 10 virtuous deeds. So it becomes similarly a practice of accumulating, or a practice of gathering virtue. And then finally, when you're giving that food, you're actually cutting off your own greed and attachment to that food. So you're giving it with being free from any kind of greed or attachment to it. And so that becomes an action, a practice of cutting off negative deeds. So in this way, the 3 types of practices associated with bodhicitta precepts are included in a simple act of, for instance, feeding a dog. So all 3 of these benefits are included in this one act. So similarly, if we think about eating a meal ourselves, then from the point of view of the Vinaya, the Vinaya says that you should eat just with the thought of, I need to feed my physical body, I need to sustain my physical body. So you're not eating out of a desire for something delicious or any other motivation, but the focus is on sustaining your physical support, your physical body. From the Bodhisattva precepts point of view, our bodies are filled with millions of little creatures and microbes and so forth. And so when you're eating, what you're doing is you're actually feeding those beings that are living inside you. And so eating a meal yourself becomes an act of generosity, and thus a practice of bodhicitta. From the secret mantra point of view, you visualize yourself in the form of the Yidam deity. And so when you're eating food, you're actually making an offering to the Yidam deity. And this generates a great amount of merit. It helps to accumulate merit. So because of that, accumulation of merit becomes an action of accumulating or gathering virtue. And then because you are not engaged in contradictory actions or contradictory motivations, you're likewise cutting off negativity. And because you are eating out of the wish to benefit others, it becomes an action of benefiting sentient beings.
년도 담발라서 편유 추주 아니 개비는 냐매는 이미 전부 잡아대스 상하기 편유 전부를 이미가 전부です전주신 결라바데 편유 전부지의 이미 추주 개비는 이다버です배마 아니 지송도 소소타가 담바지 냐매는 자고차다버です라소야 가버です전주신 라바디 냐매는 전부치 무무너다버지 코마 TV는 야소 산트야 소토 어디 소소한데 이 전주쌤이 편유 전부다 아니 이미 초이와 가서 봐 이제 편유 망고지 전주쌤이 편유 또 빨리 보야 다 근데 망고지 소토스
there also when we talk about the Bodhisattva precepts, there's so many benefits associated with them. They're greatly beneficial, and yet there are very few kind of dangers or risks involved in taking them. So Lord Atisha taught that when you think about the vows of individual liberation, the benefits are relatively small, but the risks of breaking them are quite big. Similarly, the vows of secret mantra, the benefits are very great, but also the risks involved in if you break them are very great. Whereas with bodhicitta precepts, you have a great amount of benefits with them, but yet the dangers or risks, if you violate them, are not so bad, are smaller. So another example that he gave is that the vows of individual liberation are like a clay pot, so once they're broken, you basically can't repair it. Whereas the vows of bodhisattva precepts are like a precious vessel, so maybe made out of a precious metal like silver. If it gets dented, you can repair it. You can kind of hammer out the dent and repair the pot. So in this way, we can think about bodhisattva vows are especially beneficial because there are so many kind of upsides and so few downsides to them that it's greatly beneficial. And there's a lot of reasons why we should want to take bodhisattva precepts.
다디 되는 주거 전주쌤이 초계 편유 납자제 님규지 휘차비 인스 나 샴라야 아니 텐덤 전주초도 쌤 다디 메시지 레스티 텐덤 전주쌤이 배나 완도이나 와히베기다고 아니 자기 전부 얻었다고 지리 근데 텐덤 전주쌤이 휘하시는 예멘데지 피아요.
So now I've given a brief kind of the essential explanation of the benefits of taking the applied bodhicitta precepts, as well as kind of the essential summary of the trainings associated with them. So now we come to the precepts for absolute or ultimate bodhicitta. And these precepts are kind of equivalent to the fourth empowerment in the tantric empowerments, or to like a pointing out instruction for Mahamudra. So in order to receive the ultimate or absolute bodhicitta precepts, we'll offer a mandala. And now we'll read the Golden Temple 7th branch prayer mantrayana again. So here in this great palace of all victors, here in this great palace of all victors of the three times, the mandala of the primary pure nature of mind, upon the throne of unchanging, spontaneous presence, I shall look on the self-arisen Guru, Lord Sublime. As soon as that great bliss of the Dharmadhatu is seen, having sailed all the way across samsara's immense sea, unto the pristine land of great bliss I shall have traveled. I shall look on the supreme grove, meaningful to see. By even just recalling that very refuge in mind, Mars' armies of afflictions and thoughts are overcome. On the Guru triumphant over heroic armies, I shall look with undistracted eyes of sublime wisdom. In your body are all the conquerors with their children of the 10 directions and the 3 times with Namaskar. Upon the throne of fearless lions, lotus, sun, and moon, I shall look with joy on your form graced by the marks and signs. Vajradhara, essence of the mind of the 3 kayas, to you who are inseparable from bliss most supreme, with cloud and things of innumerable bodies bowing down, I prostrate and go for refuge, singing high and calm. And in the launcher of precious Bodhisattva, merge with all the victorious ones throughout the 3 times. Your body encompasses every one of the pure realms. I bow to your body, which makes these gloriously shine. With the nectar ocean of your pure melodious speech, having revealed all phenomena as unborn fully, you conquer the king of mountains, Mount Meru of the view. I prostrate to your unhindered enlightened Vajra speech. In the change of Samanova of your mind beyond concepts, though you have not moved from Brahmavata's equality, you wield the power of the wisdom that knows the 3 times. I prostrate to your spontaneous non-duality. As are all the qualities of your body, speech, and mind, even if by all victorious ones they were expressed, through all oceans and travels, none aside, there is no end. I prostrate to you who possess qualities limitless. Until the time the ocean of sorrow is empty, all the supreme